What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shepherd channel, coming to you with a Monday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of YouTube woods. What are the Dallas Mavericks doing? What are the Chicago Bulls doing? Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, they were laden with some crazy talk in the NBA streets. I'm recording this right around 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific. And don't know if you know, 24 hours ago, Luka Doncic got traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers, which is just insane. But obviously, we're going to cover this from a gambling aspect, and it kind of ties into my lock that exists here on today's card, that full unit send. Then we've got a couple of half unit ones, lots of leans that also exist here, but we're going to talk a lot of assist props. But I'm excited as we go along to talk about some of the trades that have been. De'Aaron Fox is now a Spur. Zach LaVine is now a King. He's playing with DeMar DeRozan. Again, we know how that looks. It's not super enjoyable, but we got a lot to be digging through. And yeah, without further ado, hopefully you had a great weekend. Mine was awesome until Sunday. Ran into some trappy traps in the betting streets, but you know what? We're going to continue to go on our merry way. And hey, we're going to start off with a bet that won for us on Saturday in the Discord. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. And what is that bet, you say? I didn't know how to tie that in. I think that was a terrible transition by me. Washington, they beat my Minnesota Timberwolves. Second road win of the entire season. It's not great, Bob. Not great. But we got Charlotte on the other side. And fortunately, the bet that I had in this game was Jonas Valanciunas. And I'm going to be leaning towards his double-double here yet again. Charlotte on the other side. Mark Williams will be getting rolled out. We kind of know what this iteration of the team looks like. Misic, he ends up getting hurt, so I guess you could have him being out, and then it would be Isaiah Wong more than likely starting. Maybe Nick Smith Jr. and then bringing Seth Curry off the bench. But no matter what, Mark Williams, he's your main usage guy in this current iteration of the team. Yes, Miles Bridges out there running around, combing the desert as well. But Washington, they got the monkey off the back after 16 straight losses. This is kind of a math thing. We ended up getting plus 260 over at Bet365 on his double-double. Got up to 31 minutes because they finally played a competitive game, and that's what we're looking at here. But I want something better than plus 180, and if it's not going to be there, I'm going to be very stringent that I don't bet it. But I think it will be. That's why you're getting the lean like thingy that I want to bet it very badly. Atlanta at Detroit up next here, and Atlanta, Jalen Johnson out for the season. It sucks. I love him. Clint Capella also going to be out for this one, along with Bogdan Bogdanovic. I don't know who that fourth starter is going to be. They ended up rolling out Dominic Barlow last time out, but I think David Roddy could always end up sliding in there as well. I do think there's a world where Okongwu and Larry Nance share the floor even more. So, again, going up against the Detroit front court, they're on a back-to-back in this one, and Cade Cunningham just continues to look ridiculous. But every iteration that I run of this game, it's landing on like 3 constantly, and then you got to factor in like a point if you want to go maximum towards, you know, the team that isn't on the back-to-back. But Atlanta, even rested, I mean, look at what they're rolling out on a day-in, day-out basis. It's Risa Shea, still young, still raw. Dyson Daniels, who's been awesome from a steals perspective. Trae Young, Okongwu, and then again, just a random fourth. That doesn't look as good as having Cunningham, Hardaway, Thompson, Harris, Duran over there on the other side. So, yeah, I'm just going to make it a lean. Plus 3.5 here on the Atlanta side. We move on our merry way. I don't even know if you can tell. I'm kind of feeling sick. And I think I'm going to be pretty sick if Houston doesn't find a way to improve their team at the deadline. Because I really like this Houston core. I like the idea of Amen Thompson. I like the idea defensively of Dylan Brooks, of course. But Jalen Green, very curious to see what happens with him. But anywho, we got ourselves 2 back-to-back interesting leans. And I'll make them pretty quick. The Knicks, should they be laying plus 184 here over on FanDuel.com? Like, money line, I can get Houston on this side of things. Now, the Knicks, you ended up having last time out, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby gets dinged up. They end up losing to the Lakers. LeBron James goes bonkers at MSG, but I think Alperen Şengün Q-tag as well. We're going to see this move some way or another, and I think you have OG the least likely to play out of the 3. I think Şengün probably next. Josh Hart keeps playing through this Q-tag, but I think you'd see this number inside of plus 175 everywhere if we knew one of those two was out, because we know how many minutes you're replacing with the likes of, obviously the main guy being McBride, but Precious Achiuwa, I think, would have a chance to start with Jeff Green on the other side being the presumed starter. Weird stuff there, but Fred VanVleet going to be out. I think Alvin Thompson could be just fine at the point guard position. Probably too many points to be getting as well. If you're looking, a little safer, go that direction. But I think plus 184 money line, that's why I'm leaning towards. I think I might pull the trigger on this and the next one, which is even more appetizing. Yeah, we're talking back-to-backs again. Memphis on one themselves. We are, 58-56? We've been sitting at halftime forever of that game. Did I update it? Is that game still not tipped back off in the second half? Whatever, producer Jacob doesn't care. Are you watching it? Of course you're watching it. Everybody's just watching ESPN for coverage. Headquartered in LA. Put the tinfoil hat on. Just saying. Yeah, I'm looking at the San Antonio side of this one. They just traded for De'Aaron Fox. Physicals are a thing. You didn't see Anthony Davis. You saw everybody rest on the Dallas side because I'm sure they're not done making moves either. But I look here at Memphis. They're going to be on a back-to-back. John Morant, I think there's a world where he ends up playing. And the only reason that I didn't put this down is because, one, I don't think the line is going to move against us. Plus 225 on the money line there. But I think there's a world where John Morant, again, doesn't play here on the back-to-back. Maybe they rest somebody else on the back-to-back. You have the San Antonio team that basically gave up nothing of value somehow, some way in this acquisition of De'Aaron Fox. No Stephon Castle. How did Stephon Castle not be a part of that deal? I don't understand. I'm honestly in shock from the NBA this week. And San Antonio Spurs money line, plus 225. I'm going to wait on it. It's not going to be in the like category until it gets north of the plus 230. My favorite plays of the day. They both come from this game, and they both revolve around the trade that was De'Aaron Fox being shipped off to San Antonio. The Kings, they're acquiring Zach LaVine, but I don't expect Zach LaVine to be playing basketball tomorrow. If that somehow, some way changes, miraculously, they get all the physicals done, I apologize, but my assumption is that you get either Devin Carter or Keon Ellis sliding into that spot. I think Keon Ellis, just because of what he brings defensively, especially if Ant ends up playing, looks pretty darn good. But we've got an interesting one because 221.5 total, still a little bit under that 100 possession mark that you're basically looking at for both teams to have. The average NBA game, you could basically put 100 possessions attached to it, and you're kind of projecting out the offense that way. That's how I go about it on a day-to-day basis. But interesting stuff without De'Aaron Fox on the floor here this season. In fact, there are two guys, very notably Malik Monk, Domantas Sabonis, that have pretty darn good assist rates and pretty secure minutes with De'Aaron Fox out. Malik Monk, 32.4% assist rate with De'Aaron Fox off the floor. Domantas Sabonis, 27.6%. However, Sabonis has the 7.5 number purely because his minutes, barring foul trouble, are almost always going to be in those high 30s marks. You're going to get more mid-30s minutes for the Malik Monk side, but I think considering the rate difference, the 5%, I'm looking at Malik Monk here again. He has a completely different role with Sacramento since he's entered this starting line, but now it's going to be that way going forward forever, because Malik Monk, over 6.5 assists, minus 120, Bet365, already posted it in the premium Discord. And Domantas Sabonis over 7.5, that's minus 120 as well here. Again, you need to be hitting more around that 55% mark to be in break-even pace, but I feel really good about these numbers moving in our direction by tomorrow. You could end up seeing a big number maybe on the Domantas Sabonis side, but right now, Malik Monk, my preferred option based on that minutes allotment that we've had this season, right around 450, 500 minute sample for both of them with Fox off the floor. Pretty confident Monk will keep this role going forward. And then we'll keep this going forward too. First week or month of my premium Discord over at Tails, Lindy50 down at the link below. Gets you all the goodness. Yeah, 50% off. Again, Sunday was not very pretty so far. I need a couple of threes from Luke Kennard. That would be helpful. Jaren Jackson Jr., if you could just stop scoring the basketball, that would be extremely useful. He has 14 at the half. But anyway, they started that one back up. Anyway, this is the worst ad read ever. Lindy50, I would just love seeing you guys there because it's fun to talk sports all the live long day. And that is where you can find me, as well as all of my bets every single Sunday through Saturday. That is all the days of the week. Back to the picks we go. Halfway point, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bells. We talked Milwaukee on a back-to-back going up against OKC. And I almost made this a lock. I almost did, because I'm thinking through this. And if you're Milwaukee, think about all that they have going in the next however long. We've seen, out of all teams in the NBA, Milwaukee's the one that just purely punts games. Rests 5, 6 of their main guys. And this is especially pertinent on the trade deadline week. You got Chris Middleton with injury concern. You have Giannis and Lillard. They're not going anywhere. Maybe they do suit up here again. It is a small play for me at the moment, but I already have this at 10. And I think the only thing that could potentially happen is Milwaukee, they end up having pieces either traded out to weaken them for that day, or you're getting some rest situation from somebody on this back-to-back. I'm looking at Middleton specifically, but I think Oklahoma City -8.5. I'm a little surprised to see it this short. Sure, we're getting close to the NBA All-Star break as well. The trade deadline on Thursday, massively important. Milwaukee tied to Bradley Beal still. He's still available out there. Jimmy Butler, curious to see how that works. Apparently, he will not go to Golden State. He doesn't want to go to Golden State. These NBA guys. Actually, not these NBA guys. I'm absolutely loving them. Jimmy Butler specifically. Oklahoma City -8.5. I project it as a 10. I already said that. Goodbye. Next game. I'm not actually leaving. Assists. I said it was the name of the game. We've got 2 of them in that Sacramento game. We've got a lean coming up after this, but this is a like play on one. Zion Williamson north of a 40% assist rate with 1 guy off the floor, and he will be off the floor the rest of the season. Sadly, DeJounte Murray. Achilles injuries, man. They've really sucked in the NFL of late. Now starting to show up more and more here in the old NBA, and I'm not liking it because DeJounte Murray, he was having a tough, brutal season as it was. It got more brutal with that injury for sure. But Pelicans, I don't think you're moving Zion at the deadline in any way, shape, or form, especially this version of Zion. I don't know if anybody's watched him play basketball recently. He's lost like 20, 30 pounds. He is out there flying around the floor. But he's out there assisting too. And that's the kind of surprising number that catches me every single time that I upload for somebody. It's usually like, Trey Murphy was out one specific game or, things of that nature. But, oh, cool. Tigers got Jack Flaherty. That's nifty. I don't need that for my Twins. Anywho, Zion Williamson over 4.5 assists. I like it. -110 bet 365. That's where all of these are right now. Indy at Utah, and lots of teams to be paying close attention to. Indy, you've got Miles Turner linked to the Lakers, linked to a lot of places. I don't know if the Lakers can actually make that money work. We'll see. Rob Pelinka is obviously a miracle worker. We learned that over the weekend. As for the Utah Jazz, I wouldn't be surprised to see any type of scenario where they just kind of rest guys during the course of this week, trying to limit minutes, specifically for a Jordan Clarkson, specifically for somebody like a John Collins who could potentially be gone here very darn quickly. But Isaiah Collier is kind of the interesting one. He has been a terrible, awful, no good, very bad rookie so far out of USC here for the Utah Jazz. But he's out there just assisting at a ridiculous clip as well. And when you're playing alongside a Lauri Markkanen, alongside a Colin Sexton, even a Walker Kessler, rim running here from time to time, I look at Collier over 6.5 assists. He is pretty consistently up there in terms of potential assists in a way that I didn't really expect once he took over the starting unit above Keontae George. But just a lean for now because I prefer the Williamson one. I definitely prefer the Malik Monk and Sabonis ones. So yeah, we're going to be a little bit trepidatious here just for the time being. See what else shows up on the board for tomorrow. Orlando at Golden State in this one. Golden State, obviously. Draymond Green coming back is a big, big deal for them. As for Orlando, they've really been down in the dumps, even though they've gotten way, 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 way more healthy. It is just ridiculous to see this version of this basketball team play as poorly as they have recently. They're always down in pace, so you'd think it would lead to like some low variance outcome games. No, Franz Wagner, again, comes back. Paulo Banchero back. What happens against Utah? They lose by 14. What happens against Portland? They lose by 29. They lose by 6 to Miami. I mean, it's just been a brutal 3-game road stretch for them. And now going into Golden State, I think they match up well there. They're really, really good at defending those positions. Small forward guards, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope going up against Mr. Steph Curry should be fun to watch. But you get Draymond Green back on the perimeter. Under 215, going to be primarily lean here purely because I don't expect a ton of possessions. Obviously, Draymond Green really elevates this Golden State defense overall. Can we still start post here? I'm very curious to see what props we get because Golden State's rotations have been dumb lately. Phoenix at Portland. Phoenix at Portland. I saw nothing. I have absolutely no analysis for this one. Jabari Walker, questionable. Robert Williams, questionable. Ryan Rupert, questionable. Duop Reith, questionable. None of those people matter. Denny Avdia, he matters. It's going to be an interesting starting lineup here going forward. I think Scoop probably jumps back in there here as well. We shall see. Again, Simons, he's not going anywhere. That contract is not very friendly. $25 million plus here for that performance this season. Brutality. As for Phoenix, the main thing, we're going to be watching it. We're going to be paying attention. What goes on with one Bradley Beal? I don't know. You don't know. The timing of that news could really, really matter. There's going to be a time to be able to jump in early as news breaks from Shams, well, I almost said Woj. I miss Woj. But anyway, Shams is doing a great job. No, thank you. Don't want to bet this one in any way, shape, or form. We're going to pass on it entirely. We're going to get ourselves the heck up out of here. 9 games, 10 games now. And that does it for another edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Sticks, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board. Why does my hair look so weird? We're going to talk about all your favorite plays down at the comment section below. Lindy50, if you guys want to sign up for Tails as well, check out at Eric Lindquist over on X. Have a great tweet thread that's going to be dropping within the hour. It should be good. Yeah, maybe like around midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. Give myself a little bit of a buffer. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, let's have a great week. Let's get off to a hot start this time around. Go Malik Monk. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Monday.